Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. I'm Kevin Coleman and I'm joined by Dave Stewart, who's politely enough to come in the studio and hang out with us. Dave, how you doing?
It's a fun time of year. I'm glad to be here.
And I like your green. We're getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. I got the green pocket square, the shamrocks. You got the green shirt. We're ready to go.
Got to do it. Got to be in the holiday mood at this point.
And it's that time of year. You got March Madness. You got St. Patty's Day. Opening Day's 2 weeks away. It's an exciting time in sports, and not only that, but it's also playoff time in the state of Connecticut for high school sports.
It's good. It's our own version of March Madness here, and it's been pretty good so far. We've got some, had a little bit of a hiccup this week with the snowstorm and everything, but everything's starting to get back on track today.
And speaking of getting on track, we're now going to welcome in the head coach of the Trumbull girls basketball team, Steve Tobich. Coach, good afternoon and welcome on, and thank you for taking a couple minutes to spend time with us.
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me on today.
Now, Steve, you're punched a ticket to Mohegan Sun on Saturday night. Before we even, talk about how you got there, just talk about what you're feeling as it's Thursday leading up to Saturday night.
I think we got here because of how consistent we've been as a team, right from the start of the season all the way through the state finals. Game in and game out, the girls came out ready to play, and I think that's why we're still playing here in the last night of the high school basketball season on Saturday night. And we're certainly looking forward to this game and looking forward to this challenge. It's going to be quite a challenge, but again, I think our league and our conference, the FCX, has certainly prepared us for all the challenges that we've been facing here during our postseason run.
Now, your defense so far has held teams to under 40 points in this tournament. Why has it been so successful so far, especially in the tournament? But you guys also did this in the FCX tournament, which you guys ended up winning.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our number one priority, is always to try to impose our defense intensity and our matchups within the game plan. And I'm certainly sure that's what we're going to hope to do on Saturday night. But again, that New London's going to present a different challenge from us than the teams that we've previously played. I think by holding teams under 40 gives us a great opportunity to win a lot of high school games. And we're hoping one more time we can do that on Saturday night, win the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, Steve, Dave Stewart here, and everybody knows that you're. Everybody hears about girls like Claudia Tucci and Taylor Brown. What are some of the other girls on your team meant? Because what I saw in the FCX tournament was that it was a very deep and very diverse team.
Yeah, we're a very balanced team overall. This is a very unselfish group of girls. I think it starts with one of our senior captains, Victoria Ray, is a coach's kid and does a great job distributing the basketball and gets girls the opportunity to score in positions where they feel comfortable. But a lot of people hear about our three seniors, Claudia and Taylor, and you're right. There's a lot more to this team. Our other four juniors have added a tremendous amount of depth to our lineup. Julie Keckler, has played tremendous minutes for us all year long. Been a starter for all 27 games we've had. And Ashley McGuire, she's also started, every night during the year. And Ashley just brings that defensive intensity, and she does a great job taking the shot when she's open. That's what we try to praise her for. And off the bench, we got two juniors, in Kristen Pagliaro and Brady Lynch, who played huge minutes in our state semifinal win the other night. A lot of people remember Brady played huge minutes in the FCX semifinal, the triple overtime game when Claudia fouled out. She played huge minutes in those double and triple overtime. So we're getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different girls, and the girls have just been ready. For when the lights have been the brightest, they've been excited to step on the court, and I would expect the same on Saturday night.
Another overtime game too in the semifinals against Mercy. Talk a little bit about that game and just how tough was that Mercy team that you faced?
Oh, Mercy's so good, year in and year out, and I give a lot of credit to our girls. Like bang that big three at the end of the fourth quarter. Our captains kind of took command of that huddle, head into overtime. They just wouldn't be denied, and that's kind of been the mantra. Here during the postseason, you just got to kind of find a way. And our girls have done a great job answering the bell. But Mercy is a terrific high school basketball team, and I think it shows a lot about how well these girls have played together. They're completely selfless throughout the course of the year to come away with that victory on Monday night.
The last time we saw you, Coach, was the FCX final against Stanford. What an exciting game that was, and someone who stood out to me a lot, especially on the defensive end, was Julie Keckler. Talk about what she's meant, and she's only a junior, so how does it feel to know you get to have her back next season?
Yeah, we're very excited to have Julie back because we do take significant graduation losses, and I think there's many girls who are going to step up in new roles next year. But for this year, for right now, Julie can play so many different positions for us. She's extremely quick, on the offensive side. she gives us a little 1-2 punch. We take the ball inside, shoot it from the perimeter. She hit a big free from the right corner Monday night. She's kind of fearless, and I think a lot of the girls kind of piggyback off of her determination and willpower, and they see how hard she goes, which is great to see.
And Coach, going back to that Mercy game, you guys went to overtime, pulled out the win. Claudia Tucci actually scored her 1,000th point in that game, and I thought something that stood out to me after the game. She said she didn't even realize she was up there. She was all class. Talk about what she's meant these past 4 years for your basketball program.
Yeah, we couldn't stop the game and do a normal celebration, and our coaches have been preparing for a couple of weeks here, knowing where she was numbers-wise, and, she's given us so much defensively, especially with the tough matchups that we've had inside, and that will be the same, on Saturday night. New London has a terrific big girl, but, we were able to celebrate her accomplishment in the locker room with the team, and nobody knew except for the coaches, and the girls and her teammates were so excited for her, and I think it was priceless to look on her face when we presented her. Our assistants presented her with a ball, and then we called her parents in. And as a high school coach, those small little moments. And the game was great. Being in the state finals was great, but to see a smile on a high school kid's face when you present her with a ball, and something she had like Christmas morning, and she had no idea was coming, was terrific.
Coach, you're going to face a New London team that just won by 21 in the semifinals and did beat Stanford by 2 in the round before that. What do you expect to see from them?
Well, they're a terrific defensive team. I think there are a lot of similarities between the two of our teams. I think they're very well balanced. They're headlined right now by 2 seniors, both scholarship players. Their point guard's going to University of Hartford next year, and their post is going to Stony Brook. So, like I said, they're going to present some new challenges for us. But I'm kind of excited to get back to the practice court here after the snow we've had the last couple of days, and kind of get in rhythm today and tomorrow, and get ready to play Saturday night and one last time put those uniforms on.
And this is your first time going to Mohegan Sun. Talk about what this week has been like. You guys had a snow day on Tuesday, and talk about what the preparation's like. Do you like having that extra day off, and now you get into Saturday? Do you think your guys are going to be well rested?
Yeah, I think we needed a day off regardless. After Monday night, it was it's a late night. There was a lot of emotions. I think it was actually good to get a break and a breather. Today, this afternoon, the kids were out of school. We had a state luncheon, media luncheon, and so they've been back together. And it will be exciting to get back on the court. I don't think that will hurt our preparation because basically at this point of the year, most of the hard work has been done. It's just kind of fine-tuning some things and getting the girls moving again. But and I think they're pretty much very excited for Saturday.
Well, Coach, we on behalf of everyone here at the HAN Network, we want to wish you and your team the best of luck Saturday night. We'll be rooting for you guys and keeping a close eye on what you guys are doing. Hopefully we can have you on next week as well. All right, Coach, thank you and best
Absolutely.
of luck.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having us on.
All right, that was Coach Steve Tobich. Dave and I are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to break down the boys basketball as well as the girls basketball game as well for Saturday for Nutmeg Sports on HAN Network.
Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest Salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek Salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning free-form pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas and water features, and even landscape maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HN Network. Kevin Coleman, Dave Stewart, Eric Gendron directing. In FCIAC alumni news, former New Canaan Ram Olivia Hump continued her climb up the Princeton women's lacrosse ranks when she surpassed 200 career points during the Tigers' 14-8 victory over the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Saturday at Sherrod Field, class of 1952 stadium in New Jersey. The senior midfielder Hump scored 4 goals and had 1 assist as Princeton remained perfect at 5-0. And Dave, you wrote the story on her. Tell us a little bit more about Olivia and talk about her accomplishments at Princeton.
Is that fair to beat Notre Dame during St. Patrick's Day week? Olivia, I can't believe she's a senior at this point. It seems like she just left New Canaan. She has all sorts of records there. She just continued that at Princeton. She's only had 1 game in her career where she didn't have a point. That was her first game her freshman year. Since then, I believe it's 59 straight games with a point. She had a 39-game scoring streak with at least 1 goal, and it was broken a couple of games ago. She picked right up where she left off. She actually has a shot at being the number 1 player, a point scorer at Princeton. I believe the number that she's shooting for is 270. She's at 202. They have 10 games left, regular season, then they have the playoffs. So at her average, she could definitely do that. She'll certainly move up to number 2, barring an injury or anything like that. But just an incredible athlete. I mean, talking about a hockey star at New Canaan, a lacrosse star, even ran cross country her senior year and was one of their top runners. So, I mean, I feel like she could do anything. It's crazy.
And she's not only that, but she's not only a great athlete, but she is insanely smart, as you were telling me as well, Dave. Yeah,
she's involved in one of their international scholarship programs, and she's also she's fluent in Arabic. She's just doing a million different things there. We get information at the New Canaan Advertiser. We get information about all these different awards that she's winning athletically and academically. Just somebody who has it all in front of her.
Well, congratulations, Olivia. We're going to keep an eye on you, and you always have big fans here at the HAN Network. And also in other FCIAC news for alumni, former Richfield Tiger basketball standout Kurt Steidel will be playing in the NCAA tournament as his number 13 Vermont Catamounts will be taking on number 4 Purdue tonight at 7:30. And also Shadrach Casimir from Trinity Catholic, Dave Stewart's very own, will be playing in the NCAA tournament as well with the Iona Gales. The number 14 Gales will be taking on number 3 Oregon tomorrow at 2 p.m. So Dave, we're really seeing, right now, especially in the winter time, we're seeing some great FCIAC alums, 2 of which are in the NCAA tournament. It's great to see.
Oh, it's awesome. And, in Vermont's case, I believe they have the nation's longest winning streak right now. It's something like 21 games. So it'd be interesting to see how they do against Purdue. I mean, that's a tough matchup for them. You're going in as a 13 seed in both cases, so it's going to be tough either way. But you know what? Hey, it's great to see them there, and got to be in it to win it, as they say.
And keep in mind, the last time UVM was a 13 seed, they beat number 1 Syracuse back in 2005. So keep that in mind if you're watching tonight or if you're doing your brackets a little late. But let's talk about now. Thanks again to Coach Steve Tobish, who we just had on the A Block. Great guy, great coach for these Trumbull girls, Dave. And they're going up against a New London team, like you mentioned, beat Stanford, a team that Trumbull had a little bit of trouble with in the FCAC final. They beat them, then they went on and a great semifinal as well. Now they move on to the finals. I mean, talk about this New London team and how much of a big matchup this is going to be against number 1 Trumbull.
Yeah, this is going to be, this is huge. When you get to this point in the tournament, obviously you get to the quarterfinals, semifinals, everybody's got momentum. So you're playing teams that are coming off of successes. I think the Stanford game was kind of telling. That might be a good measure as to where they stand compared to other FCAC teams. Sometimes it's hard to tell,
right,
with your strength of schedule and stuff. But they beat Stanford 58-56. Stanford is obviously a great team, defending champs in Class LL, and it'll be an interesting game. I'm sure this is going to be a down to the wire type game. That's the type of game Trumbull likes to play. They're going to need to step up, stop New London's 2 seniors from scoring, and they've been able to do it so far. Like you said, they've held everybody to 40 points or less in the state tournament so far. We saw that happen in the FCAC tournament too, and I think that continues. Right now, they seem to be on quite a roll.
And it's that man-to-man, and they also switched to a 2-3 zone, Trumbull, and again, holding teams under 40 points. It's an amazing stat. Do you expect them to do that as well against New London?
I don't see why they can't. I think that's the type of game they play. They like to slow it down. They don't really push you offensively too much. They'll take their fair share of 3-pointers, but and they have people who can score. But they kind of tend to try to just limit your opportunities, play good defense, and I could see it being another very low-scoring game. If you look at their games throughout the tournament, they haven't topped 47 points since the first round. So they haven't topped 45 since the first round. So it's that's the type of game they play, and I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I like to think Trumbull's going to come out on top. I like them in this game just because they've figured out a way to do it. Whether it's overtime, whether it's a close game in regulation, no matter what, they seem to be able to figure it out way. So they're battle-tested.
Well, they certainly are battle-tested. After being down to Stanford in the FCAC final, they crawled their way back, won the game. They brought home the FCAC title, and boy, wouldn't it be nice if they brought home another state title over in Trumbull.
It would be great, and representing the FCAC, that's a bigger plus. We've got 5 teams left going right now: 2 boys basketball, 2 boys hockey, of course. But Trumbull's the one. There were 12 FCAC teams in the girls basketball tournaments. Trumbull's the last one standing, and we hope they bring home the flag, so to speak.
And speaking of those 2 boys basketball teams, let's talk about them a little bit. We got Wilton taking on number 2 Notre Dame Fairfield. Both games are going to be tonight, as Trinity Catholic will be playing WCA. And Dave, between those 2 games, which one stands out to you the most?
I think the Wilton Notre Dame Fairfield game is going to be very, very interesting. Wilton, it's an incredible story what Joel Garriak's done over there, and they've overcome injuries. They've had injuries to Williams and Wood. They're done for a year, but they always have somebody who steps up, whether it's Matt Cronenberg or Kyle Matala, or Drew Connolly, of course, has been awesome for them. And, every time you think Wilton's dead, they come up with a big game. And, when they get hot shooting, it's hard to stay with them. So I think Notre Dame Fairfield's one of those teams that can stay with them. Obviously, like I said, you get this far, the momentum's on your side. Both teams have momentum. So, it'll be interesting, but at this point, I don't want to bet against Wilton because Wilton just figures out a way to do it every time out.
Well, if you think about it, Dave, in the first round they hit 18 3-pointers, then 10 3-pointers, then in their previous game 12. So you got to think that the shooting is still pretty hot right now. And with a snow day involved in the week, do you find that snow day at all? Even do you think that's going to interrupt the Warriors at all?
I think that I don't think so. Only because every team's got to deal with it. I mean, these are the type of things that if overcoming the injuries that they've had is bigger than overcoming an extra day off or 2. So I think both teams will be able to handle it. I think both teams will be ready to play. I mean, this is it. You're in the spotlight. You're in the semifinals or in the finals in Trumbull's case. So you just let it all hang out, so to speak.
And not only that, but this is a Wilton Warrior team that doesn't have anyone over the size of 6'3", and I think that has to impress you because they're going up against teams that have guys who are listed at 6'7", 6'8". They are just outboxing their opponent, which is very impressive. I think that speaks volumes to what Coach Garriak has been doing, especially leading up to this season.
He's really just built such a great program there because it's not just this year. This happens to be the top of the iceberg there, but it's not something that's like just out of the blue. He's been building this for a while. They've been contenders. They've been in the FCAC tournament. They've qualified for the states for a number of years now, and he's really got something working there with the youth leagues and just the program as a whole. I think this year is kind of their year, and this is the time to take their shot. But I mean, if they went into next year and people weren't giving them any credence, I think that would be a mistake, because they would figure something out.
It's funny, they play that to their advantage. They like to have that chip on their shoulder, and that's why I think if you're Notre Dame Fairfield, you have to be a little scared in this game, even though you're the 2 seed. I think that the rankings at this point are out the window.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Again, it's the momentum at this point. Everybody's playing well. It's even if you get a team that's a lower seed. I believe Trinity Catholic's opponent is number 23.
Right.
But they've still won to get there, so they're on a roll right now too. So anybody right now is pretty hot, and or everybody is pretty hot. So this should be a good game. Like I said, I don't want to bet against Wilton at this point. Well, to me, Wilton win the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Go.
You heard it first. Now let's talk about that Trinity WCA game. Now, they're ranked number 23. They are playing well up to this point. You're right. At this point, rankings out the window. It's all about momentum coming in to this semifinal game and leading to the final at Mohegan Sun. What does Trinity have to do to come out winners?
I think Trinity's just is playing well right now. I think this Class S tournament with them sitting there and there is kind of. I think they're the team that everybody circled ahead of time, even though they were 6 seed. Like you said, the seeds go out the window at this point. I'm not going to pick against my alma mater. But anyway, so I'm hoping to see 2 FCAC champions out of these boys basketball tournament. But Trinity's just playing well right now. They're well rounded, and they're going up against teams that are their size too, their roster size, their depth wise, they're equal. So I think that plays to their advantage. I think sometimes in the FCAC you'll get schools that are bigger, so that have a deeper pool of kids to choose from. Obviously, Trinity has an advantage in that they can go out and get kids too to play for them. But I like their chances right now.
Talk about Contavio and Moyes. I mean, these two, especially down this stretch for Trinity Catholic, have been so great, especially down low. I mean, you can see the chemistry is great between the two of them. I mean, they have the size, they have the athleticism, and they have the basketball IQ. How important are they to this piece for Trinity Catholic?
Well, they're the key. They really are the key, and they'll just bowl you over to get to the basket and to get what they want. And it's interesting too, because I felt like those two. Earlier in the year, I was covering a game at New Canaan, and New Canaan actually beat Trinity Catholic. And New Canaan did not have a great year. It was a struggle. And after that game, I felt like since then Trinity's kind of turned the corner, and they've played better. They were one of the hot picks going into the FCAC tournament, and they got knocked off by who else? Wilton. I feel like those two in that game didn't step up against New Canaan, and so Trinity went down. And in that, you make a loss work for you, and they've turned it around. And since then, they've kind of found their pace. And I think right now it's their time of the year, and they're playing like it.
So am I getting the sense here for Class S? It's going to be Trinity Catholic in the final, and it's going to be Wilton in the Class L final.
I'm going for it.
Okay.
Yep. 2 for 2 and I like Trumbull too, so I'm sticking to the FCAC right now.
And in Class LL for boys, Hill House has punched a ticket to Mohegan Sun in Class LL. They are waiting for the winner of tonight's game between Kennedy and East Hartford. And Dave, just a quick thought on that game.
Well, obviously, the road to the championship is going to go through Hill House. And I think they're going to be tough to beat. Kennedy and East Hartford, they've both been playing well right now. Kennedy had that big win over Danbury, and Danbury had gotten hot too. And I think Danbury, going in, I thought as a 17 seed, I thought Danbury had the talent, and the injuries kind of knocked their seed down a little bit. So I expected them to beat Kennedy. Kennedy came out, played very well against them, held them off. I like Kennedy to win tonight. I like Hill House for the tournament, though. I mean, I don't see how you can't go with them.
All right, those are Dave's picks right there for you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to welcome in Johnny Kovac. We're going to talk some hockey. We got some big semifinal action coming up tomorrow night. We got 2 FCAC teams in it. Find out who's in it next after the break.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the spring clearance event and Ram Truck Month, now through March 31st.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's the In-Sports Athletic Functional Movement Assessment Program.
A program that uses a camera, the same camera that you use with an Xbox video game.
What it involves is 3 phases. One is the initial test, which will give you a very objective and lengthy assessment of how you are moving and where there may be imbalances.
Once test gets the results from the assessment, we'll develop a customized program for the individual.
The objective really to try to get as many young athletes through this program as possible.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
And welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HN Network. Kevin Coleman, John Kovach, Dave Stewart, Eric Gendron directing. Due to weather, Division I hockey semis have been postponed to Friday now. Due to that change, adjustments were made to the championship game schedule as well. Division III championship game is at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Division II is now at 2 p.m. on Saturday, and Division I will be Monday night at 7 p.m. Just a quick update for you guys. And now I'd like to welcome in John Kovach and Dave Stewart. And guys, we have a great semifinal action coming up tomorrow night. We got Richfield, New Canaan. They're not playing each other, but we got them back-to-back games. You know, just your original, thought on these 2 games coming up tomorrow at the Whale.
They're both. I mean, obviously, they're both going to be great games. I mean, you've got the interesting thing is you've got 4 teams that haven't been to the semifinals in a while. Northwest Catholic, of course, hasn't been in Division I that long. This is their first time there. New Canaan hasn't been there since 2011. West Haven since 2012. Ridgefield since 2013, and they all lost in the semifinals when they went the last time. So, we've got a kind of a. I don't want to say a new look to it, but it's a fresh look. Let's put it that way.
It says something about hockey in the state of Connecticut when you've got teams that are that powerful that have not been in this far in this long. I mean, that kind of blows me away when I saw that stat.
Yeah, that's and Ridgefield has never won a D1 championship. New Canaan hasn't won it since 1972. Even though they've been there, they've been to the finals 8 times since then, and they've always been, they've always been on the runner-up side. So it's been rough for them. Northwest Catholic has never won a Division I championship. Again, they've only been in it since I believe 2014. They asked to move up. So West Haven's got 7 championships, but they haven't won one since 1994. So we're talking about teams that haven't been winning it lately. So it'll be nice to see somebody's going to be celebrating something they haven't done for a long time.
Yeah, especially for New Canaan. I mean, we can just ask Frank Granito. I mean, he's been down that road many times.
Yes.
A little shot at Frank, but he knows I'm really kidding. But John Kovac, I want to ask you. You've been able to call some of these games, especially Ridgefield, New Canaan. Between these two games, which one stands out to you the most?
I saw Ridgefield when they played West Haven up at Bennett Rink in West Haven. And that one jumped out at me because it was the first time I had seen Ridgefield. It was the Saturday before the original date of the second Ridgefield New Canaan game, the one that we had that was postponed. And what kind of struck me was just how physical Ridgefield played and just how good they looked, how solid they looked at a unit, how many things they did well. And what also struck me was how quickly they became their own worst enemy, because they're up 3-0 in that game inside the final minute. And with West Haven's net empty, Ridgefield takes a bad cross-check, gives up a goal with the power play and the extra skater, takes another bad cross-check, gives up another goal on the empty net power play, and a 3-0 dominant shutout became 3-2. And if you weren't at that game, you're looking at that and you're kind of like, oh, wow, there was a tight game. And it really wasn't. I don't know that Ridgefield can get away at this point in the season with giving up late goals like that, and they got to stay out of the box, and that became evident in the New Canaan games, Dave.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that, because two things I've noticed in both games, the first two rounds of the States, they allowed Darien to hang around into the third period. It was 1-1 early in the third period. They scored 2 quick goals and an empty netter to win 4-1, and then they were trailing Prep 3-1 going into the third period. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than a playoff win over Prep in overtime. We can talk to Don Eng about that sometime. But
sure, he'll be happy.
He'll be very happy with that. But
if you don't forget, he also had to wear a Ridgefield shirt the other night.
That's
on Nutmeg.
Sure, he was happy about that.
Very happy about that. The thing is, if you keep doing those things, you keep letting teams, push you to the brink like that, and eventually they're going to push you over, and you're going to be done, especially at this time of the year. So that's an interesting thing to look for.
And for Ridgefield, you talk about how you got that big win against Fairfield Prep in overtime. It almost seems like at this point they're starting to run out of gas a little bit. Do you guys agree with that?
I think it's possible. I think at this point you really got to suck it up and find what's inside and get over it. I think this is a group that has had statewide success before in the youth ranks, that plays well together, that gels well together. You've just got to get over that. Almost wonder if the extra day's rest that they get because of the snow doesn't help.
And I think it does help in a way, because if you think about it, they get that extra day, maybe rest the legs a little bit. But Dave, I'll ask you, it seems, again, Ridgefield seeming a little bit gassed after winning that, tough FCAC championship game. That took a lot out of them. I mean, if you don't look at the scoreboard, but that game, you could tell it took a lot out of them to win that game. They looked winded, after being down there interviewing some of those players. But now, after beating Fairfield Prep in overtime, they get that off their shoulders. Do you find them, okay once they're coming into this game against West Haven?
I think they will be okay, but it's difficult to tell how a team's going to react to an emotional high like they had winning the FCAC championship and then coming back. And you also have another emotional high beating Prep when it looks like you're done. So that's can't underestimate that. Look what happened to Ridgefield basketball losing to Shelton in the first round of the States after winning. It's tough to win both. It's tough to follow through on both. And I feel like in New Canaan's case, losing that FCAC championship, they came back kind of with a little bit more to prove. So they've had a little more. They've shown a lot of energy the first two games. Ridgefield has looked a little, I don't want to say lackadaisical, but just they don't look as sharp as they were in the FCAC championships, or in the FCAC tournament. But you know what? They've gotten there, and it's survive and advance, as Pat Gore likes to say in New Canaan. So that's the word right now.
What I want to see is the effect of the change in schedule of that Final Four, because you were on correct me if I'm wrong, you were on a Thursday Saturday with one day off in between.
Wednesday,
Right.
Saturday.
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
okay.
Saturday.
So my point's invalid. Okay. No, it is, because it was about the days of rest in between games.
Okay, yeah.
So-
And guys,
Get a
let me
little bit
ask
more.
you this. Let me get your picks for especially this first game, New Canaan, Northwest Catholic. Who wins and who's the biggest? Who needs to come up big for New Canaan? I'll ask John first.
I'm going to pick New Canaan because I really do want to see New Canaan Ridgefield again, and I think Peter Windus has to come up big in net.
All right, Dave.
I'm from New Canaan there, so I'm going to pick New Canaan in this. They did face Northwest Catholic earlier this year. They beat them 5-3. Interesting game in that New Canaan really was just all over them. 3-0 after first period, 4-0 early second. They kind of took their foot off the gas pedal and let them back into it. And I know Pat wasn't that happy about the way they played there, but they did beat them 5-3. I think they have that going for them, and I'm looking for Tyler Hill to have another big game. He's playing great in the state so far. He's the guy that can, if nothing else is working, he can make something happen on his own. And he scored right away against Glastonbury to set an early tone. He also set up Teddy Hood, of all people, for a second playoff goal for Teddy Hood, the defenseman. Just on a perfect pass. He basically banked it off of Teddy's stick. Teddy puts it in. And they get that third goal. I look for Tyler Hill to be the guy to maybe do some scoring for New Canaan, setting up things, and be the mover and shaker.
All right, number 2 Ridgefield and number 6 West Haven. Who wins in this game? Who's your pick?
Who's going first? Me again?
No, let's start with Dave.
All right, I'm gonna pick Ridgefield here just because they've been figuring out a way to win every time. They've kind of got that Wilton basketball feel right now, and I'm gonna go with the obvious one here. It's Sean Keegan's. I mean, if he can continue to play well and he continues to do well, he can he's a difference maker, big time. I think he's the key to their team. They have a deep team, guys like Van Wees and Chuma and Cullinan, but Keegan's is the man. He's the guy at the top.
All right, Johnny.
I'm going to go with Ridgefield because I do want to see that matchup again. I want to see those teams against each other. But Ridgefield cannot take their foot off the gas like they did the last time they played West Haven. Yes, they were, it was 6-on-4 skating situation because West Haven had pulled the goalie. They had nothing left to lose. You're not going to get that all the time. But you gave up 2 goals real quick. You can't do that.
All right, gentlemen, it's going to be a fun Friday night, I can tell you that. It's going to be fun here. We're going to keep you guys updated. Next week, we'll have you all covered of what's went on this weekend, especially we want to wish the best of luck to Richfield, New Canaan, and Trumbull in their respective championships, as well as Wilton and Trinity Catholic will be playing tonight. For Dave Stewart, John Kovach, I'm Kevin Coleman. Thanks to Eric Jedrin for directing. We'll see you next week, and happy St. Paddy's Day.